What is going on, guys? It is John here for you. And those of you who are subscribed to me or watch my videos and you're Exmark fans, well, you guys are in for a treat. Because we've got here I think it's a 2004, or either 04 or 05, Exmark Lazer Z. Yep, that's right. Finally got a red mower in here. So this actually belongs to my church. And I am, giving back a little bit and helping them with the maintenance and care of this thing. They were taking it to a local dealership, but I said, I can do this stuff and I'll charge them a lot less than what a dealership's going to. So I figured I'd go ahead and pick up the mower and go ahead and get her all serviced up for the church. So like I said, guys, this is a Lazer Z. This has a horizontal shaft, Kohler Command 27. It's the CH740S is what this engine is. And this mower has 500 hours on it, so hardly any time at all. And looking at the filters, because the last person that did this at the dealership, I guess, wrote the hours and the date on it. The last service was in January, and at 471 hours. Now we have 505. So we've got about 30 hours on this thing. So it really doesn't need a whole lot of servicing, but I'm still going to do it because it's just what you do. So I'm going to be doing an oil and filter change. I'm going to be doing a fuel filter change. Well, yeah, I'll be doing a fuel filter change. The air filter is completely fine. I checked that last night when I picked this thing up. I used the Brymar over there to pick it up. See, the air filter's fine. So, let's see. So, oil, both of those filters there. Oh, and hopefully you guys can see this. There's that hydraulic system filter right there, which they want you to change that filter every year, but they don't have to change the oil. And this thing uses, according to the manual, which I looked up online for this particular serial number, you have to use Mobil 15W50 full synthetic oil is what the hydraulic oil this thing uses. So I'm going to go and power wash this thing. Which you guys, what power washing looks like, so I'm not going to record that. I will record me working on it. So, this thing has a metal chute on it, and you can see they've hit something along the way, because that shouldn't quite look like that. But they leave the chute up, so I'm not too concerned about it. Has a 60-inch Ultra Cut, I think it's Ultra Cut. Yep, Ultra Cut 60 on it. And the underside of the deck, the blades are decent. They could just use a sharpening. Get them all cleaned up and looking good. So yeah, guys, I am excited to have an Exmark in the shop. I really do like these mowers. There's just some features on them that I think the Deere does a little better. Like I know this is an old Exmark, so I'm kind of comparing apples to oranges here. But I've run the new ones at my job at the farm back at college that I work at. And they've got a similar deck height thing with the foot pedal and with the little pin and on the holes and everything. So that hasn't changed. I will say, though, the new seats are way more comfortable than these older seats. I mean, this one's not bad, but they've really come a long way there. And I personally also like the vertical shaft engines a little more than the horizontal shaft. They're just easier to service. As you guys can see just how awkward that is with this air cleaner on there. So now you got to either take the air cleaner off or find some kind of funnel or something. So I do like the vertical shaft a little more on the newer Exmarks and the newer zero turns. They went away from these. Here horizontal shaft engines. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get this thing all serviced up. I'm gonna take it out here and get it cleaned up. The other two mowers that they had having me work on, they've got this Husqvarna push mower. This is one of those all-wheel drive push mowers, which I am not a fan of if you like doing a lot of turns, because the way the axles are, it's just really weird. So I am going to be servicing this thing up. It's got a Honda engine on it. It probably, I don't know if it's ever had an oil change in its life. Maybe once. It's not too black, but it's not too bad. It could definitely use a change. So we'll get that serviced up, and then they've got this Craftsman, older Craftsman with a flathead Briggs on it, which was apparently donated to the church, and it hasn't run in a few years, and they would like me to get it going again, so that'll be a little interesting. I might make a video just on these two mowers, so make sure you check out that. I'll put a link in the description if it's already done. Make sure you go and check out that, but this video is going to be about this here Exmark. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing all washed up, and I'll show you guys that finished product, and then I'm going to run and get some parts, and we'll go from there. Alright, let's fire this thing up. Get her on out there to wash. I guess we'll run this thing through its paces too. Probably should blow this thing off before I do anything. Yeah, what I'm gonna have to do, guys, is I'm gonna have to blow this thing out, because I'm pretty sure there's grass under the seat and everything. Yeah, I gotta blow this thing out. These covers off of here. I like the plastic covers more, dare I say it, because they're so much easier to take off. Covers off. Here we go. Yep, clean that out. Belt looks okay. Alright guys, so I'll go ahead and get get the rest of this all cleaned off, and we'll go from there. I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, got her all cleaned up. Mostly dry. Cleaned out all the grass from down in here. It's a little bit of scrunge down in there, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to get the grass out so it can catch on fire, you know what I'm saying? So, that's all clean. I even hit the motor, which you gotta be careful when you hit a motor with a pressure washer, but I got all the grease off the valve covers and everything. I'm missing the little nipple that goes here, that little debris drain thingy. So I'll be getting another one of them, hopefully. Anyway, but I hit all the motor, got all the grease off of there, cleaned her up real nice, ran it through its paces. Everything checks out real good, so I guess what I'm going to end up having to do now is I gotta run to the parts store, get some parts. And believe it or not, guys, I actually crossed all these filters with John Deere part numbers. So I'm actually putting John Deere parts onto this thing. So, gotta put a little bit of Deere and everything, you know what I'm saying? Mostly the reason I'm doing that is I can get them a lot cheaper than I can get either the Kohler or the Exmark parts. And our local Exmark dealer is terrible, in my opinion. So, well, they're not terrible, it's just hard to deal with them sometimes. I've gone in there a couple times, they haven't been too bad, but it's just a little challenging. So anyway, I'm going to get those parts because it's a little bit cheaper for me. And get her all serviced up. And she's clean, definitely nice and pretty. I also power washed the plate that goes here as well as the two covers. I'm going to leave the covers on. It's not my machine, so I leave the covers on if they're on. So that's that. I also power washed the Husqvarna, I guess. I started it up and it got gross again. I'll wipe it down with that rag real quick. This pressure washer is doing great. This little cat pump I installed, all of it's working great. So, alright guys, I'm going to run to the parts store, and then the next time you see this thing, I'll probably have it jacked up in the air, and we'll see what the bottom of the deck looks like. Alright guys, so, got the mower up in the air now. Got back from the parts store. Let's see how bad these things are under here. Well, there's the usual buildup. It's not really that bad. I'm amazed. There's two things I'm amazed about with these blades, and I'll show you more when I get them off. One of them is just how narrow this is, and how they don't really have much of a fin to it. The second one is just how long this cutting edge is. It's pretty neat to see, but I'm surprised they're so narrow. I've seen other mowers that have blades that are much more narrow. Much more wide. I don't know if it really affects anything, but probably affects airflow, because that's not a very big lip right there. Oh well. Anyway, go ahead and pop the blades off of here, get them sharpened, go ahead and clean the deck out, and we will go from there. Then we'll get the motor serviced. Where's my 3/4? Oh, I'm looking at it upside down. Work. Huh. There we go. First time I worked at an Exmark, I put this collar in backwards. I put it in like this. Let's just say the deck was not very happy. Oh. For a split second there, I thought that this bolt broke, because I only saw it like that. We're good. This deck's not really too bad. There's these blades. They're due for a sharpening, definitely. I don't think they've ever been sharpened. These are probably new blades at some point. We'll get them nice and good. So I'm going to go ahead and clean out this here deck, and then we'll get the grinder, and we'll get to the blades. Alright guys, so here's a finished blade. It is very hot because I've been taking a lot of material out of here. Usually don't like sharpening the backside of the blade, but these I had to take off so much material to get a proper angle right here that I had to do a little bit on the back. But that's nice and sharp. There's the part of the blade I took out, which I'll have to clean up. And then just for comparison, here's a dull blade. You can see just how much material I had to shave off to get there. So, yep, a little bit. But I brought it out real nice, so I'm going to stick it on a balancer real quick, make sure it's balanced, which my balancer is just a nail in a wall that hangs it there like that, which it feels okay. It might be a little lighter on this side, but a little bit out is not going to kill anything. But I'm still going to do it actually and not just on my finger. So I'll set you all up and have you watch me sharpen the other blade, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so currently draining the oil out. You can see it's really not that dirty. There was already some black junk down in there, so that's what that is. Got this little dewey right here that I'm using, or that they provided to drain it out, which I kind of like. I like how there's no rubber in there. Really makes life easy. So then I'm going to go ahead and get this filter off, which I'm not really looking forward to that because it's going to get oil everywhere down here. But we'll do that. I probably got to get a wrench on there because I bet the last gorilla that put it on too tight. Some of you might yell at me, but I actually purchased a John Deere oil filter for this, and it's right about that deep. It was a little smaller, but it was the cheapest thing I could get, and it was readily available to me. So that's what I got because we run those filters on all kinds of different Kohler engines. So, and this is a Kohler engine, so it's not going to hurt nothing. Something else, guys, is I'm actually not going to be changing this hydraulic filter under here. I talked to two of our small engine mechanics at the dealership who work on all makes of zero turns. They've done it for the last 20 some odd years. And I told them that what the circumstances was with this machine, how it was only getting about 30 hours a season, if that, and it wasn't being used commercially. And they asked me if anything felt weird with the controls. I said no, the controls feel fine. They said just do it every other year, then don't worry about it this year. There's not enough time on that filter to justify it really changing it yet. So that is that. So I'm not gonna be worrying about changing that filter out. So I had to order this little piece right here. I didn't have that in stock, so I got that coming in, and yeah. So that's where I'm at. I did have to jack the back of this thing up a little bit to get my bucket under there, just simply because I use a larger bucket than normal. So I had to lift it up a little bit in order to get the clearance to get the bucket under there. But other than that, I mean, she's looking really good, guys. The deck cleaned up well. Hopefully y'all can see in there. It's not perfect, but the deck cleaned up pretty well. The machine looks great overall. So it's a solid unit. It's a very, very nice unit. So this unit also, if you that haven't seen the older Exmarks, this has dual fuel tanks. So this tank is completely empty. So I will be changing that. I'll be putting fuel in there. The other tank is full. This tank over here. I don't know why they put a gauge on this one but no gauge on the other one, but whatever. So, here's that little diverter valve. Tell you which fuel tank you want to go to. That's kind of neat. Little storage compartment full of grass, which I got to clean out. So, finish draining the oil out. And go and get this filter off of here, and I'll show you guys all of that. I just want to make a real quick point. When you install oil filters, they should be hand tight. Ground them out, turn them no more than a quarter to a half turn by hand. That's it. Won't leak, won't nothing. I've never had an oil filter leak that I've put on by hand. You do not use an oil filter wrench to put them on, unless you can't reach it. I'll tell you what, guys, this thing here, literally blood, sweat, and tears. I ended up scraping my thumb across the muffler there, and there's a piece of my skin. That's nice. So I'm having to use these massive channel locks to get this filter off of here, because I broke one oil filter wrench. The rivet came out of it down here at the bottom. None of the other ones really fit, and they're starting to strip the filter out. So now I'm just having to grab it like a gorilla and get it off. So, but, you know, PSA, do not tighten your oil filters down with a oil filter wrench. Do it by hand, please. Alright, I'll get off my soapbox now. Alright guys, just a quick update. I'm currently putting oil in this thing. I've got just a smidge down there, you guys can see. So I'm filling up the oil. The oil on this thing, this is kind of like an old, I don't know, with it being horizontal shaft, it's kind of like a car engine almost, where you fill it up through the valve cover. I fill it up the exact same way on my Chrysler, I fill it just through the valve cover. Although the valve cover is much larger, obviously. So I got a quart in there already. I've got the new filter installed. There's the date right there. It's upside down. That's kind of how it ended up. But I only hand tighten this thing. See? Nice and just hand tight, nice and snug. But today's the 20th, 2017, December 20th, 2017. It's got 505 hours on this thing. So I'm starting to put the oil into it. And I got the deck cleaned out. You guys probably saw all that. It really wasn't too bad. The old oil filter, here she is. I had to destroy it basically to get it out. So it's seen better days. But it doesn't matter because it's the old one. Here's my oil. I bought a case of the 1030 from John Deere. This is a Honda air filter for that little Husqvarna out there. It has a Honda engine on it. This is for a different machine. And here's the oil filter I used. So it's actually not quite as deep of a filter as the Kohler, but with the little amount of use this thing sees, and I actually run one of these filters on my zero turn on the Kawasaki. Takes the exact same filter. There's no issues with them, so I'm not worried about it. Air filter, I knocked the dust out of it, so it's nice and clean. They're clean enough. Fuel filter, I'm not too worried about changing that, because I mean, like I said, the machine only has 30 hours on it. And I'm not changing the hydraulic fluid, or the hydraulic filter, because like I said, it only has 30 hours on it. It's not really worth changing. Anyway guys, so I'm going to go ahead and finish topping the oil off. I am going to grease this thing. There are a number of grease points on this thing. And it actually lays it out right under here, which is really nice of Exmark. So here's all the different grease points under here, which I'll be hitting every single one of these with the grease gun and greasing them all. Wish I could fix this chute, but I'm just not gonna waste my time there. But yeah, I got grease points like here, and I got one on the deck, and a couple other pivot points down here and whatnot, and on the other side as well. So I'll be hitting all them, and then fire it up and take it for a spin. Alright guys, so the Exmark's all serviced up. I greased everything. All these points right in here, you can see the grease left over. Let me get this junk out of here. Excess grease that came out. So everything's been greased. I even greased there's a little grease fitting up under here that I greased. Got my oil filter installed, and there's some dirt under there, so let me clean that so that when I check it for leaks here in a little bit, I will be successful in doing that. Okay, so now she's bone dry, no problem there. Everything else looks pretty good. I closed my drain valve. I'm not going to put the shields on quite yet. I'll go ahead and get this thing out, let it run for a while, and then I will go ahead and clean the garage. Let's go ahead and get this here zero turn out of here. Oil is all topped off and good to go. I like how they have retracting seat belts on the new ones, because these things here, it's wet from when I washed it, but they're not. That's not the easiest thing in the world. All right, so brake is on. This is an awesome brake. It's really smooth. Everything's great. It works fantastically. Some of the newer ones, they went back to this style, but I know the new ones, they had just a handle right here you had to hit, and they get really hard there in the later hours. So that's great. I like seeing that. All right, let's fire this thing up. See if it'll start at idle. Look at that. Fires right up. It's a little cold. All right, get you guys out here. Brake is set. I got some areas I can probably wipe, like right here. Kind of clean some of the grass and dirt out of there. But she's running great. No leaks out of the filter, that's a good sign. Go ahead and engage this deck and make sure nothing's hitting itself. Sounds really good. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the garage, and then we'll go out and why don't we chop some leaves up with this thing and give it a test out. What do you guys think? Here we go. Alright. I'll tell you guys what, I love my my Kawasaki's, you know, they're really good engines, and I own 4 of them. 1 V-twin and 3 single cylinders. But you can't beat the idle of a Kohler. This thing sounds just awesome. So yeah, she's running really good now. Got some temp in her. Let me go ahead and get these shields back on here. There we go. I think I've never driven a Skag mower before, but I think that if I didn't get a John Deere, if that was not available to me, I totally would have gotten an Exmark as my second choice. I just like some features on the John Deere better than what Exmark is doing, and I kind of like how the John Deere deck cuts a little more in my area than how the Exmark deck cuts. But that's all my opinion, and everybody is entitled to their opinion. Alright. See what this baby's got in her. Lots of leaves over here, that's for sure. Alrighty guys, well, as you can see, it's doing a great job. I don't really want to put too many hours on this thing because it's not my machine, and I just don't really like putting a whole bunch of hours on this thing if it's not my machine, if I'm not supposed to be doing that. But I tested it out, it ran great. I'll go ahead and blow the leaves and a little bit of grass off. Seeing how this thing does, I might actually pull out my zero turn to finish up these leaves because I think it'll do a better job than the 255, which I used over on that side of the yard, and it did okay, but there's still some leaves left. It's not the greatest mulching deck in the world, but I'll probably end up using the zero turn to push all these and chop them all up. With my chute blocker, if this thing had a chute blocker on it, it'd be unstoppable with leaves. So anyway guys, I guess we'll go back over and park this thing. If you enjoy watching this video, give me a thumbs up. I know some of you guys really like your Exmarks, and I seem to always find them, so I'm always using them, it seems like, even though I don't own any. But anyway guys, I'm gonna go park this thing, clean it off, and it is service in the books done. So appreciate you watching this. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll see y'all in the next video.